No, I understand. And like I said, I understand. But
Had a really strong March for, hopefully we'll keep.
Yeah, Heather, you know Heather, yeah, Heather, Jessica, and myself, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Swear to access.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, for sure. And
You play where you want to play now.
they had, there's only two active.
Seconds.
And the whole thing, the type of plane that dropped and did some of World War II and everything.
have you talked about the fire?
So I speak about this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try to buy fire truck.
And- But, yeah.
So-
Oh, my gosh.
Kidding me?
I would not have known.
You know, he wanted to, but, in 15 years, we went to, we kind of looked at the doctor. Was up in the building.
Great. No microphone. That's good.
Well, they took. He was in a wheelchair at the
Right,
time, so.
but I mean, on a flight, you know,
He was on sedation, but again,
Fill
he got out of the wheelchair and got up the stairs, sat back, playing all of his drum. And then they landed, you know. Sit down there.
Yeah. But it is.
Yeah.
I didn't. And I probably. I hope some left your age. Hey, they're cool. You know. Well, if you don't think about that.
Oh.
There. That's just. It was all other guys that
He's missing. They can't help you, sorry.
Good job.
I know. I should get the call.
Yeah. They were serving back. So,
It's like,
yeah.
it feels good.
Because it's.
Yeah, go up there.
Part-time, whole life. And then you got truck driver.
It's placement of those.
Yeah.
Special placement of, Yeah. I didn't know there was like a,
Even though.
Then you want to get a digital one, so you can see the
Yeah.
number. Because it won't activate for like 30. So you want to get when it's digital. We had one last week on secret calls.
oh, okay.
The other. Yeah, it really was.
On that one, we got into the. You know, back then, it's just
How
how
you roll to regular day.
Well,
Yeah.
like 30 minutes.
Five zero zero last time. Yeah. No, it's just, okay, it's good. Yeah, it's you go. Yeah.
Well, and then.
Now we play Bubba and
Brothers and that.
Dave's house and everything.
One was.
They got two first rounders, two second round. So see that. It's your mechanic.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And Will, Dave's house. Quarters. Yeah.
Was the guy.
Two eighty, 26 pitches.
He died.
Then, so Calvin.
We're gonna hurt. Okay.
He's out here for a ball.
I think that was-
I brought that contact, that's what I said.
Is he?
It's maybe this one where it's like.
That's where.
That's right.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh. That's what I said to the phone, that it. One night, you could be. Striking everybody out, but then I tell you what, everybody, she had part of it. It was these. I think you had the graduate game. They play.
She just started.
That was one night. Maybe.
That's not like my dad.
Mandatory. Yeah. Well,
It's like there, 13-9. Coach had a lot of strikes. Not like just strikes.
They are.
All over said it. It's so. Oh, dude, you got.
Call to order the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for May 13th. Please have roll call.
Mayor Dean Vonderheide,
Present.
Board Member Tim Bell,
Present.
Board Member Kathy Eckerly,
Here.
Police Chief Chad Dick.
Here.
Street Commissioner Jeff Tising, Assistant Street Commissioner Matt Kiefer.
Here.
City Engineer Chad Herm. Personnel Safety Loss Control Director Cale Denise.
Here.
Fire Chief Code Enforcement Officer Kenny Hugsing.
Present.
Director of Community Development and Planning Josh Gunselman. Park and Recreation Director Tom Mormon.
Here.
City Attorney Renee Faber. Here. Clerk Treasurer Kirsty Knies present. In order to have a quorum, a majority of the board members must be present. All board members are present, which is a majority. Therefore, there is a quorum for this meeting.
Would all are able, please stand and join us in the pledge, please. These were sent out. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Not an entertaining motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Nancy to silence and a second from Tim. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This is National Police Week. And I have a proclamation here that I'd like to read. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls as Police Week. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police has declared the law enforcement officer safety and wellness a top priority. And the IACP's Center for Officer Safety and Wellness promotes the importance of individual, agency, family, and community safety and wellness awareness. And whereas the members of law enforcement agency of the Jasper Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Jasper. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties and responsibilities of the police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas the police department of Jasper has grown to be the modern scientific law enforcement agency which unceasingly provides a vital public service. Therefore, I, Dean Bonder Hyde, Mayor of the City of Jasper, do proclaim the week of May 11th and 17th, 2025 as National Police Week. Chief, would you mind? I'd like to present this to you. We are truly blessed in the city of Jasper to have people of high quality serving our Jasper Police Force. And it takes leadership. I appreciate you coming on board as leader of that police department. I appreciate every officer that we have and have had over the years. It's what makes us who we are, Mr. Chief. Thank you. I've got to get, yeah.
The mayor stole my opening lines for my portion of it. I was gonna bring everyone's attention that it was Police Week, but no, I truly appreciate it. It's always been this week's always been one that's a little tough on me, as I've lost some friends throughout my career, so anyway, thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you. Okay. Claims, I'm gonna send out the claims for review. Nice summary, I'm gonna do, I appreciate that.
The claims were sent out, for your review from a period of April 11th, 2025 to May 13th, 2025, in the sum of $5,861,500.51. And she did, provide you with a summary as to some of the larger payments that were made, which leads to why the amount was so big.
I will make a motion to approve claims out. A motion from Tim to approve claims,
I'll second that motion.
and a second from Nancy. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we have, the bid openings for the snowplow.
Okay, the first one I have in front of me is from Black Equipment of Evansville for the street department forklift. This is for the Yale, YALE model. Like we have all of the documents included. The quote amount is $39,017.20. 39017.20. A delivery date of April 1st, 2026. I'm gonna open this one. It does not say which of the two it's for, but just in case that it's for this one. From MH Equipment, Evansville. So we would have to make sure that we get that from them. Meanwhile, their and their quote amount is for a Hyster, HYSTER model. The quote amount is 43,000. No, they have an extra digit. It says 43, then 3772.20. So we'll have to figure out what that is as well. I'm sure it's not 433,000, so they've just got an extra digit included. Delivery date is also April 2026.
Those the only two?
Those are the only two. And then we have two additional quotes for the snowplow.
Should we take action on this, forklift first?
Sure.
Given that we are on pause and spending within the city, except for those items that are absolutely needed. I look at this and I see a 26 delivery as well. So, you know, I'd like to recommend we take it under advisement and review, but given the black equipment and the Hyster, we want me to go back to Hyster or just stay what we have.
We would allow them to correct it with a clerical error. I mean, if, in this case, it would be to eliminate one of those digits.
Yeah. This.
They couldn't go back and change it to, 38,000 or
Right,
whatever.
right. Okay, that's. Want to make sure, so we'll take that under advisement until we get clarity on that, but, you do have a full quote of 39,000 for black equipment.
So,
The street department, will take it under advisement, both of them,
and come back to the board with
We'll come back.
clarification and a
yes,
recommendation.
at the May 27th.
Mayor, I'll make that motion to take both of these bids under advisement for further consideration.
Okay, have a motion from Nancy. I'll second. Second, from Tim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
The first of the two snowplow bids is from Meyer Truck Equipment. present. You're submitting a quote on a Meyer 8.5 steel lot pro snowplow. The total quote amount is $8,150. 8150, and the expected delivery date is 4 to 5 weeks from the PO placement. Second is from. Yeah, very open. It's taped closed.
Very, very close.
Quote amount is $7,543.39. 7543.39. With an expected delivery date 30 days from receipt of the purchase order. Sorry. Central Parks Warehouse.
Or the,
That's Tinley Park, Illinois.
The street department would also like to take those under advisement as well.
come back with recommendation. Next meeting, I will make a motion, the street department take these.
I'll second that.
And second for the answer. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks, man.
Next, I have, Frank. Austin Sanders.
Hi, guys. I'm Austin Simmers. I'm here to request permission to use Boner Park for a baseball camp, called Camp Frank. These dates will be June 6th, June 20th, June 23rd, July 14th, July 18th, and July 21st. And the times will be from 10 to 11:15, and then 11:30 to 12:45. Incoming grades 3rd through freshman.
So the 29th, you didn't mention May 29th, is that still?
Sorry, yeah, May 29th, yeah.
This is the first time for this.
It's actually the 3rd time.
Tell me that.
Yeah,
Did you always do it at Boner?
yeah, yeah. I went to like Janessa and Kale, but never my first time here. So,
Just approved it internally then?
yeah, yeah, and I had waiver forms that everyone signed, but
I'm just curious, how many attendees, how many kids came out?
probably 70 to 80 kids. And it's open to like all of Du Bois County, so whoever wants to come and learn baseball, we're here for it. And the guys that help me are college athletes, and then I'll do like random like surprise guests, like Connor Foley came one time, and then some of the baseball coaches at the high school, and then some of the like senior players that the kids really like. So
For what age groups is this?
it's incoming 3rd through freshman, and they're all split up. Like when they get there, a 3rd grader's not with a freshman. A 3rd grader's with a 4th grader with 2 coaches, and then fifth through sixth are together and seventh through eighth, and then freshmen come on their own. Usually we don't get too many freshmen.
And Tom Parks, no issues with this at all. Conflicts.
What does the $20 per camper go toward?
So it goes to shirts, because we pay for the shirts, they don't pay for anything. And then I pay my staff with that, for equipment. And then, we also do like a little pizza party at the end of the year. The last day of camp, we do a big competition day. And then, so that money goes to that, and that's about it.
They pay $20 per time.
Yeah, so they can, this year is new. Last year, the past 2 years, I just did $20 per session. And then, I thought that if I just be like, okay, if you do an all summer pass, you pay $100 and then you can come, you can come to all 3 sessions or all 2 sessions each day. And just spending $100, so you could save some money if you wanna bring your kids. And the good thing is the park's there, so a lot of the babysitters will bring the whole family there. And then the kids will play while the camp's going on, so.
And who's Frank?
That's my nickname. I didn't really know what to call it. And it kind of got bigger than kind of what I expected. I thought it'd just be a couple kids, but the town has been extremely good to the camp, so I just named it Camp Frank. I didn't know what else to name it.
Waiver form and play scale, we're good. Well, you know, no conflicts, Parks approved it. Got paperwork in place. I think it sounds like a pretty good opportunity. In fact, they've worked it internally for the last couple of years. No incidents, no issues, not brought to us anyway.
No,
So. Wish you the best on it. I'll make a motion that we approve Camp Frank for the dates as stated. Let's set up and tear down from 9:45 AM to 1 PM on those dates.
Yep.
Age groups 3rd grade through freshman. And all Du Bois County will. Okay,
I'll second that.
and a second from Tim. Any further discussion?
That's good.
All in favor, somebody saying aye?
Aye.
thank you guys.
Good luck, Austin.
Thank you.
Good morning. So I'm Carla Striegel Winter with, I'm representing the Patoka Lake Watershed Stewardship or Watershed Steering Committee this morning, and also that I do that through my job with Du Bois County Solid Waste District. So thank you for having me this morning. I apologize, I did not get anything to you guys in advance, so let me just get this. With Patoka Lake Watershed Steering Committee, we do have a grant right now where we're able to have a watershed coordinator part-time that allows us to kind of reach out a little bit more and do a few more events and things just to try to get folks to kind of understand what watershed they live in and the importance of keeping that clean. So we are doing a National Trails Day sort of hike and learn. We're basing that out of the farmers market. So we're gonna have several booths with Hoosier National Forest, Soil and Water Conservation, the Solid Waste District. So we're gonna have several booths. Chad Mundy's gonna be there with Stormwater. So we're gonna have several booths at the farmers market, and then the idea is we are going to be leading walks from the grassy area, the overflow area of the farmers market there where the little village is, to the river walk for guided hikes to just kind of talk a little bit about the watershed and then just do themes, birds, forest ecology, and of course Chad is going to do one and talk about stormwater. So we do have the waivers. Our watershed coordinator had contacted the city first, so I'm not really sure what steps went through there, but then they said, well, you need to come to Public Works. So we do have waivers that we were asked to do, and those are gonna just be like little sign-up sheets. There's gonna be informal walks. We're not charging anything. People will just come to our area of the farmer's market when the hike, at the time of the hike. And then we'll just go from there. So we expect, maybe 10 folks per hike or something like that. I mean, you just never know. But we're gonna do, we don't have this quite figured out yet. We've been trying to do all this by email, which is kind of hard sometimes. But anyway, so we do have the waivers that we will have in place that were provided to us by I don't remember who those were. I want to say, I don't remember. Our watershed coordinator did the first part, but anyway, they are city waivers that are just like a sign up sheet type thing. I think she started with talking to the Parks Department, and then we just kind of went from there. But so this is just gonna be on this one day. And so I originally just wanted to come and kind of let you guys know what was going on. But then they said, well, that may take some like an actual action to say that that's okay for us to do that. So that's what I'm asking for.
Sounds like a fun educational event.
Yeah, it's all agencies that are putting it on, so.
And of course, you've worked with Joe at the farmer's market.
Yes, I'm sorry, we did, yes, we've got all that set up with Joe, yes, and Joe, yeah, and so we're hoping it'll, because we thought, well, we might as well take advantage of the, traffic that already comes through the farmer's market, and then we can kind of maybe bring some new people into the farmer's market too with our publicity that we do on events, so.
Thank you for putting together this educational event. There's a lot of good things happening in our watershed, you're right, from the trails to the ecology and you name it. So I think it's a great opportunity. I'd make a motion, we approve the National Trails Day hike on Saturday, June 7th. We'll set up a tear down from 8 o'clock a.m. to 12 noon, then start at 8:30 at the River Walk Trail.
I'll second.
I have a second from Tim. Any further discussion of this? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah, good luck, Carla.
Thanks a lot, guys.
I have this, you probably will have all the information, but I thought I'd do a screenshot of our event sign up. That's on run sign up, that just has more details. And this is for the Strassen Fest bike ride, nothing new, do it every year. It's pretty well similar routes, we change, modify it just slightly when there's rock on the road, or, we have to make some adjustments. They pretty well remain the same. Phil Mundy, he's our leader on that and make sure the routes look good. He does the Dan Henrys as well as Ethan Trusty together. They pretty well do all of those necessary things that make it a safe ride. We have SAG support until 1, which that's the majority of riders are back before then, pretty well all of them. And you can kind of see the price points. We try to keep it low. And then you can also purchase a shirt with that. We do let the DuBois County Highway Department know about it and know our routes, and so they can inform us of any road work that's going to be done, any adjustments that we might need to make, and the DuBois County Sheriff's Department also knows about it and the routes.
This is a repeat. This is not a
Repeat.
event, so.
Same route.
Yep, it starts at, so last year and this year as well, we're starting at the tennis courts instead of the parklands, so we're not taking any parking spaces at the parklands. So we start just north of the parklands at the tennis court, take off from there, we go to Ireland, and head through Jasper, the DuBois, and kind of loop back. That's the longest route. The smaller route goes to Ireland and back.
We're not even using city streets really, except just to get out of town.
No, yeah, we try to keep it, you know, where it's out more in the countrysides.
And you've got spotters or people at intersections?
Nope,
No,
nope, not this one. Cyclists, they're kind of, we have a SAG and then they normally do it in groups. A lot of cyclists like to ride in groups. So no, there's no, we have the Dan Henrys and they kind of use those. We have stops along the way that has food and water. So there's SAG stops, but besides that, the riders are on their own with that, which is typical with cycling events.
Then make a motion to approve the Frozen Death Bike Ride. That starts on Saturday, August the 7th, between the hours of 8 AM to 1 PM. There could be some setup time earlier than that and tear down after that. But basically, multiple routes in DuBois County on Saturday, August 2nd.
I'll second.
got a motion from Nancy and a second from Tim. Any further discussion on this? None, all in favor, so by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Next up is David Flynn.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, board. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm here to speak today about requesting the use of the west side of the square for the annual Memorial Day ceremony to honor veterans here in DuBois County. We're asking it to be on Saturday, May 24th. The actual ceremony at 10 AM with the setup and tear down time 9 to 11. This is very similar to what they've done in the years past. Fortunately for DuBois County, we're blessed with veterans and their families and good community and business support from the chamber, the tourism board, all the different festivals in the county, the fair. Veterans have a very good rapport throughout the county, and the 13 organizations and the DuBois County Veteran Council are really doing a lot this past couple of years to reach out more and be more involved with the different communities. I've spoken with your office, sir, through Lisa, and she gave me the point of contact for safety and the police, the street department, parks and recs, and then the ground staff at the courthouse. I've spoken to all those and received favorable comments. We're looking at blocking off the west side of the square for that time period, maybe 1 or 2 sets of bleachers, depending on availability of manpower and stuff. It's a holiday weekend, and with the park opening at the new pool and stuff, I know they're very busy. We've spoken at length, and we do have support. We just don't know how much we will do. We'll ask people to bring chairs with them, and we'll provide chairs for the guest speakers and the family that's being honored. The family this year will be deceased Master Sergeant Dennis Englert, a 1969 Jasper High School graduate, retired Master Sergeant out of the Marine Corps. He did 22.5 years, and he passed away now 2 Marches ago, so a little over a year and a half ago. So his family will be there. We'll present them with a plaque, and he'll go on our plaque at the DuBois County Museum for deceased veterans that we honor. Senator Schmidt, our state Senator Schmidt, Daryl Schmidt, will be our guest of honor and guest speaker. We will have a local church provide prayers at the start and at the end of the ceremony. We will have a 21-gun salute and patriotic music during the ceremony, as well as the POW MIA ceremony that we did last year. And now with our new monument, it'll make it even more special. And we'll also do a missing comrade ceremony by the Navy League. It's about a 5-minute thing, but it's very appropriate during Memorial Day. All 13 organizations will participate. We'll have a joint color and firing guard detail. The Marine Corps League will do the flag raising and lowering. And then after the ceremony, there'll be a reception at the American Legion Post 147, just up the road. I
Sounds like
believe,
you got it well planned.
I hope they throw a lot of planning our way, but try to alleviate any concerns that the board or the city may have. I also will speak with the county commissioners on Monday next week.
The one thing I wanted to ask was regarding security. I know we have barricades. We're gonna use the water hours. Keep anybody from driving up the square. Good. I feel better when you got a group like that, you know. Today's world, especially coming off Sixth Street. I think on the square, you might be able to use some of the old wooden ones to block it off, that particular area, but coming off Sixth Street, I think that's a little bit scary. I'd like to see that. So water filling on what's there, that's what we have for. For safety, be ashamed of something happening, we didn't use it.
Yes, sir.
So. That, and then.
How would those be moved then after the event? Are they heavy?
Get their water.
I know they're heavy, but they can be as heavy as we want them to be, depending on how much water goes in them.
You can also drain them.
Water out.
I was just saying, we could drain them at the end of the ceremony, and we can assist with that. We can have a working party to assist them. Everybody to move the stuff out of the way. I know there's another event on Saturday on the square. I think music on the square or something else is going on. So
Yeah.
we're happy to help reset it to make sure it doesn't interfere.
That'd be great, you know, because you're right, I know the Parks Department's busy, that's the weekend we open up the aquatic center,
Exactly.
and so all hands on deck there, but at the same time, it's a significant event for us and the veterans, so we want to be able to support that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tom, I think we'll work out delivery of bleachers and, requested 3. So
Up to 3, but we understand, I mean, last year, I mean, a lot of the people, and I didn't notice, I was looking for pictures of how full the 3 sets were, but everybody was telling me they were pretty full. But again, we will stress bringing bag chairs and stuff and go with less to help ease the burden of setup and tear down because of the holiday, setting up, you know, as early as maybe Thursday night for some things, you know, getting it in place because of the holiday weekend. And then maybe not until Tuesday to really move stuff out, so we don't want to slog.
So if we can, we'll set that reminder.
Where the podium's gonna be over where
Where-
the parking places are.
The podium will be right in front of the POW MIA,
Okay,
just because the fountain, that's where we can in place all the organizational flags.
got it.
And then to back, if you're looking at the POW monument.
Yeah.
This way,
That way.
the firing detail will be on the right side.
Okay.
And then, there'll be one van up there that we'll use for music and different things, tie in all the music, patriotic music before and after. We'll have a bugler for taps. And then there will be a 21 gun salute. We don't plan on, you know, doing any rolling thunder type thing at this time. So that would be the only 2 noise type events.
Do you, I'm sorry, I don't want to get in the weeds on this, I am.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Do you have a sketch of the layout?
I can make one.
It's just so delivery in the right place rather than have to move around.
I'm meeting with the executive council of the Veteran Council this evening at 7 o'clock. And I will finalize everything and get a sketch and bring it into the office tomorrow.
Be great. I want it to be very successful for you.
Yes, sir. We've always gotten great support from the city and the county.
So
That's safe.
we need to, are we gonna we close the entire square, keeping open
It'll just be 1 quarter, will be
the south east?
from South Main
West.
to.
Yeah, you're gonna be over there.
Right.
If we-
The other side was open
This
for the
main
past
quarter
time.
by Sawyer Bliss would be the only
Yeah.
traffic will be through.
Okay, so that's what we need to do.
Is that Main Street side?
Because Main Street north is blocked.
Right.
The they'll be able to use parking there. So they could back it up. That's it. Still. City got it. That makes sense. So
I think these are barricades would be right out here.
right out here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At the halfway point.
We go, yeah, the east half of the courthouse stays open.
Yeah, right. We actually opened up this parking over here too. Main Street. They would just have to
And City Hall parking lot.
leave in this direction. So it's all
Back out.
So bad. So you know where to put barricades.
Well, it sounds like a great event. You got a lot of people involved in planning.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the Du Bois County Veterans Council's Memorial Day observance. Saturday, May 24th, set up, tear down 9 to 11 a.m. Then starting at 10 a.m. And we'll close off, we're just gonna say the west side of the square.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion, Tim, a second from Nancy, all in favor, so no second.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Good luck.
All right, thank you. We'll see. I know we'll see a lot of them. So have a good day and I'll bring that to your office tomorrow. The diagram and the agenda.
Okay, fine, thank you. Chief?
Good morning. Should all have received a copy of the monthly report. Anyone has any questions on the numbers, I'll go through a couple of the highlights. On April 1st, Officer Nolan Hinkie came across the semi-tractor trailer that was just sitting in the turn lane at Sixth and St. John. That it didn't appear that anybody was around it. When he ended up locating the driver, he picked up on clues that the driver of this tractor trailer might be intoxicated. And through the course of his investigation, he did determine that this driver of this semi-tractor trailer was in fact intoxicated and arrested him, arrested him for operating while intoxicated and possession of drug paraphernalia. On April 9th, officers Beaker, Poteet, Goler, and Hinkie were sent to North Portersville Road for the report of a runaway juvenile. They quickly ascertained the vehicle description that the juvenile was in. Using our flock camera technology and cell phone technology, they were able to determine where the vehicle was heading towards, and it was heading towards I-64, and it was near Ferdinand. Our dispatch center was able to put out a bolo or be on the lookout, which also notified the state police. Troopers located the vehicle as it was traveling eastbound on I-64, and when they attempted to stop it, that vehicle fled from them. Troopers were able to locate, and when it fled from them and then it crashed, and the juvenile ran from the vehicle. The troopers were able to locate the juvenile a few minutes later, and the juvenile was transported to a hospital. State police have requested, called back to our department, requested that the parents come to that hospital, which was in New Albany. Due to the fact that their vehicle was involved, Officer Baker provided them a courtesy transport to New Albany so they could be reunited with their child and so that the investigation could continue. On April 13th, officers were called to a business on West Sixth Street because the employees were stating that there was a female that was crawling inside the ceiling tiles. They were able to locate her, get her out of the ceiling tiles. She was determined to be wanted on a warrant and in possession of drugs, so she was transported to the security center. I did receive a couple of compliments from some of the patrons of that restaurant on the actions of our officers and how well they handled that, so that was good. On April 16th, the person came to the police department to report that a person had pointed a gun at them at a local restaurant. Officers went to the restaurant and watched the video. They were able to identify who the suspect was and the suspect was arrested for intimidation with a deadly weapon and harassment. On April 23rd, Officer Poteet conducted a traffic stop. And during the course of that traffic stop, he believed that there might be drugs in the car. So he called for a K-9, to which Sergeant Duncan and K-9 Mac arrived. K-9 Mac indicated on the vehicle and drugs were located. Our detectives, can't say enough about the work that they do. That's very hard, but they stayed very busy and had a couple successes this month. On April 15th, the case that they worked very hard on, it was a very tough case. The suspect was sentenced to 13 years of prison. And that was 13 years, with 9 of those being in prison. And that was for possession of child pornography, rape, and voyeurism. So great job to Detective Schmidt and Officer Burton, who helped investigate that. Then on April 28th, a suspect in one of Detective Greener's cases was sentenced to 16 years with 10 spent in prison for child molestation. So once again, very tough work when they're dealing with those cases, but very good work and able to come out with successful outcomes. And last but not least, our school resource officers, I think, continue to provide a credible resource and service to our schools. So for the month of April, they had 3 arrests, 4 searches, 5 drug or alcohol violations, 16 stop arm violations and bus patrols, 9 vehicle crashes, 41 school presentations, and 11 student behavioral assist. That's just simply helping the schools out when they need some assistance with the student. So anyway, another great month for the police department. And the officers continue to work hard for the city. So with that, that concludes my monthly report. Are there any questions?
We had an addendum on
Yeah, on the
addition on the K-9.
Yes, it should have came in yesterday.
It did.
Officer Chambers was on vacation for a couple weeks and he came
Okay.
back Friday. We were busy on Friday, and ended up having a department meeting, so he ended up getting his report in late Friday, so that's why Chris sent it out to you, but you should have received that yesterday.
We did. We
Okay.
received it. I noted that the numbers were relatively low on it. He was on vacation.
Yes, he was gone for a couple weeks on vacation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next on the agenda, have a police officer hiring update. As the board knows, we were slated to hire 2 officers in June. One of those gentlemen being Wyatt Street. On April 30th, myself, Assistant Chief Pearson, and Lieutenant Dave Berger sat down with Wyatt after being made aware of some possible issues. After talking with Wyatt, I made the decision not to move forward with his hiring as a police officer due to a health situation, and Wyatt was agreed with me on that decision. So I bring this to the board because he was already offered a conditional offer of employment that was made to him, and this will now leave an open position still at the police department that I would obviously like to start a process to fill that. So with the board's permission, I'd like to grant permission for you to grant us permission to begin another hiring process for that empty spot as a police officer.
So moving forward with the hiring process, that normally is a several month process. And again, I'm stating that we've put things on a pause. But the fact that we had a gentleman who was hired for this position no longer is going to be filling it. I kind of feel like we should continue the hiring process because it does take so long. My thought.
And in this case, because there was someone offered the position, now that's gone, it's really like filling that same financial files.
Correct.
How many open positions do you have?
Excuse me.
How many open positions do you have?
Just one. Well, we currently have 2, as Daniel will come on board. And then, so just the one
So that would be full staff of 31 officers,
it'd be 26.
26. Okay. With dispatch.
Does that include you?
Yes. that includes me.
And that's the additional officer that was put in the budget this year.
Yes.
Is it well, we would go back to the pool of applicants that we previously had?
There is no pool. The one person we have left is already been hired by another department.
We'll be starting from scratch.
Yeah.
This, and we need to talk about this a little bit, because this is what I'm hearing from other municipalities, is because of the changes in funding for municipalities across the state, that police and fire are a couple of the areas that are being impacted. I feel strongly about our public safety, and the police and fire are supported by our community. I feel like this is a role that we probably should move forward with, at least the recruitment. Won't be making an offer until much later period, probably, let's say in the late summer or fall, by the time this process is through. And we should know a little bit more by then where we stand budget wise. We won't have our budgets completed until October, or adopted until October, but they would all have to fit into that budget. So my feeling is right now that, yeah, it's one of those areas that we've got to continue to look at, but public safety is pretty key. That's the reason people live here. They believe it's a safe community. So I'd be in favor of moving forward with the hiring process to backfill this position.
Mayor, maybe we should first formally accept accept the withdrawal of that officer.
That's true.
And the formal, the offer of employment.
There was an offer of conditional employment, that's true. That was all I said. Yeah, so I'd make a motion to withdraw the offer of conditional employment to
White Street.
I'll second that motion.
There's a second from Nance. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then make a motion to move forward with the advertising recruitment. Start the hiring process. Thank you. Start the hiring process to fill that position.
I'll second
I
that.
have a second from Tim. Further discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Last on my agenda, the board should have received a copy of the 3 mandatory statewide policies. One being on deadly force, one being on minimum standards for vehicle pursuits, and the other one being on defensive tactics training policy. This year, while attending chief school, the staff attorney from the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy did several presentations, but one was on these policies. And upon returning from chief school, I compared the statewide mandatory policies with our current JPD policies and recognized that I needed to incorporate those immediately. So on April 30th, I issued a general order to the department to immediately begin to follow the guidance of these policies. We're currently working with Bliss McKnight on a policy review of our books. And so speaking with Renee, she felt that it was best to ask the board to adopt these statewide policies pending a formal approval as part of the handbook amendment process that we're working on with Bliss McKnight. So therefore, I would ask the board to adopt these policies. And once our review process is completed, obviously we'll come back with all the changes that have been brought forth and seek formal approval.
Yes. Thanks to all the which ones they were.
Remember the uniform statewide policy on deadly force, uniform statewide policy on minimum standards for vehicle pursuits, and uniform statewide policy on defensive tactics training program. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That was in your memo. I can make a motion, based on the chief's, directive to his department, general order statewide mandated policies that effective immediately, all officers of the JPD will follow and abide by the following listed and attached policies and minimum standards, and those being the Uniform Statewide Policy on Deadly Force, the Uniform Statewide Policy on Minimum Standards for Vehicle Pursuits, and the Uniform Statewide Policy on Defensive Tactics Training Program. And those were effective by the end of business on Friday, May 2nd.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Nancy, well stated, and a second from Tim.
Well read.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. She votes.
We'll start with weed letters. With all the rain that we've had, there are quite a few weed letters to report and other code enforcement violations, so everything you see with the date on the right has been closed already, so first one is Carpenter Reynolds, 1040 Fairview Avenue. John V. LLC at 614 East 13th. Don and Mary Mendel at 1216 Second Avenue. A. Graber at 615 East 14th Street. Aaron Sloan at 507 East 15th. Aaron and Ian Doyle at 901 West 6th Street. There's also a declared nuisance there on that one. Jonathan Mackey for 1117 Mill Street. And then there's accumulation of waste. Those are both to take care of. Jose Nunez,
Kenny, on that one, was that accumulation taken care of?
yes, it's been removed as well.
So has to.
Yeah, and this is about the fourth or fifth year in a row for the same two violations at that property, so. Jose Nunez at 1113 Mill Street. Another Carpenter Rentals at 211 East 12th Street. And the lady living there was very kind. She actually called that evening and it was taken care of immediately, and she sent me pictures on it to verify what was taken care of there, so. Bruce Roderick at 418 West 14th Street. Louis Wagner at 418 Heisler Street. The next one was just trash that they continue to set on the sidewalk at 321 West 8th Street, and that happened multiple times, so they did receive an artist violation fine for that for a continued. And that was paid, and she did come in and pay that. 504 West 8th Street was Christopher Unger. That's been taken care of. Thomas Nig at it's at 4th and Clay. There's a lot there that was not being maintained, and there was a trailer that was parked there in the grass, and that's been moved to an area that is permitted. So that's taken care of. Lynn Jurger, Life Estate, 1316 Newton Street, and that's been taken care of. Hinky Properties LLC at 320. It's supposed to be 320. Oh, there's two properties there. That's the duplexes on East 14th, 320 and 322 East 14th Street. Thomas Nick for another residence at 3203 Howard Drive. J&A Properties LLC at 318 West 5th Street. The next one is unsafe building. It's Brett Wanegers who have been responding to. He's out of Evansville, 1427 Reese, and that is property right up against the cemetery. And he called, and once he received the pictures in the mail, then they were given 30 days to move forward on that. So that's of course not completed, but I'm sure they'll contact us back whenever they have an action plan there. Jacob Harrison at 1311 Coon Deck. That is several bags of trash and weeds. That appears to be in foreclosure. There's a company on the door, so Jane did reach out to that company as well. It's a cleanup company, which has not been addressed at all this year yet, so that's still out there. So Robert and Mary Durkos for the lot that they own at the corner of First and Truman. He did take care of that. The Alanis Family Trust at 213 Sherry. That was accumulation of waste and animal, and those have both been taken care of. They had many chickens there, and they have removed the pen and everything, so that's been taken care of. Meyer Creative Landscapes at 392 Third Avenue. That's been taken care of. Jacob Crowder at 444 Third Avenue. He actually called too. They live in Bloomfield and are moving to Jasper and with their children in sports and trying to get here on weekends, but he did follow through with what he promised to take care of, so it's been taken care of. Matthew Manning at 423 Third Avenue. Grant Ackerman at 1001 Justin Street. Marlene Hulls, this is an empty lot at the corner of Bittersweet and Northwood. Many years we've had to send letters out to her, take care of that, and this actually goes to a revocable trust, and it's William Langley, and he's out of Indianapolis. So we extended that date just to make sure they have sufficient time to take care of that, but it's not been addressed this year. Next one is Robert Suzanne Eckert. That's the home that burned on East 13th Street, 109 East 13th Street. The weeds have been taken care of. The unsafe building is the home, of course, that burned, and the accumulation of waste is all the. They contacted us and we have a demolition permit. That's supposed to be midweek, they said, so I would expect tomorrow, Thursday, that the contractor should be there on site to take care of that.
I got a question on that.
Sure.
They're gonna need to close off. Because I know they can get to it from the alley and back. But one of those houses next door, pretty close.
Yeah, they're very close.
They
Yeah.
want to check with them that they need to come in at least. Get with us, or at least, they said.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not street too,
Very, yep.
you know,
A
so,
lot of congestion right there, so
yeah,
not much parking.
I
So.
mean, the alley is the best way to do it.
We're familiar with the contractor, right?
Low contract.
Yeah, I'd say, I can make them aware of what.
Yeah.
Last time.
It's very, very tight in there. The next one is Jeremy and Amanda Gibby, that animal issue there. That date is, I think, June 16th there. Kenneth Oscar,
And that one has not been resolved. Kitty,
we've been in process talking to those. Yeah. Yeah, Oscar Thorpe at 2916 Rosemere Street. That date is not due yet till the 16th, so that's been taken care of yet. Jason Huffman at 305 West Sixth Street. It's been taken care of. Mary Ann Kiefner at 44th and Burnstrat, that's another empty lot. That actually comes due today. Raul Espinoza at 1331 Mill Street. That's not due till Thursday. Logan Schwartz at 1526 Mill Street. It's been taken care of. Verizon North, that's the lot at 36th and Villa. It was really bad, and the contractor was there Friday, and I did talk to him. Although the letter already went out and the pictures went out, Verizon is asking them to mow that once a month, and I let them know that that will not be sufficient, so. And told them what will happen. He was gonna call his he wanted me to talk to the supervisor, and it's like, you need to stay in contact. He told me that Verizon just gave them 44 properties to deal with in Southern Indiana, so they're out trying to maintain these, and they really request them once a month, but anyhow, we'll keep an eye on that one. Lysandro Iglesia at 3611 Victory, that's due on Thursday. Jordan Allstat at 1135 West Sixth Street. Bob Creek Rose, that's the lot out there by the Welcome to Jasper sign. That's not been addressed yet this year, although the state looks like they came through and mowed their part. Trevivo Ortega at 1533 Dewey Street, that's been an ongoing issue that was not maintained. And the street department did that one. So I believe that invoice came in at $671 or something like that. And then Dustin and Joe Mattis, the street department also took care of that one, and I think that was $900 and some for that one, so. 43 of them, I believe. So. And then you have a fuel maintenance report. And then the other thing I have, I'd like permission to move forward with hiring American Test Center this year. I have you quotes there for that. The price is going up somewhat, which is pretty common for what we see anymore. The first truck there is the tower truck. That is just an annual inspection on that for $610. Then they listed the ground letters there. We have 494 feet of ground letters. That's $2.50 a foot for those, which is $1,235 for that. And then if they need to put any heat sensors on, those are $2.50 each. They're little stickers with a button on it. If it changes color due to the heat, then we have to have them serviced. And then if there's any labels that are needed, $8, which I don't think we will. And then on page 2, the ladder is due for the non-destructive load bearing test. That's every 5 years. That is due this year, and that price is $1,200 for that truck as well. So once we give them to go ahead, it's a total price of $3,055.50. Once we get the go ahead, then we'll get scheduled and normally have to push them to try to get here. October, November timeframe. So ISO looks at those certificates and would need to keep them within a month or so every year. If we extend past that, then they'll question that work, but we've always come back and show them the efforts we made to try to get them there. So if I can get approval to move forward with the American Test Center.
In the past, it looks like we spent about $2,400. I assume you have that extra money.
Correct, yeah. And the reason is the non-destructive load bearing test is higher. And this year, for some reason, it's higher than what we normally have seen on that truck. So.
I just want to make sure that you have money in your budget.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. Normally, I would have recorded all this at the next meeting, but I will be out, so I moved it to the first meeting this month, so instead, but if you're there.
Yeah, you need a motion on the American Test Center.
Correct.
Move forward with that testing. Make that motion for the American Test Center for annual testing of ladders in the amount of $3,055.50.
I'll second that motion.
Second from Nancy. Any further discussion? All in favor, so by saying aye. Aye.
And on the violation report, Renee, I appreciate what you said. I did yesterday. The day before. Just haven't had time to review all that thoroughly, but we'll be doing that.
Yeah, sure. It's I think I put in the email, Jane's been working on trying to manipulate the GoGov so that we can get a report out that has what we want and not all the other stuff that we don't need. So it's a work in progress. So
And I'm not sure if you had on that report, it might be interesting to know which of the properties the street department typically has been mowing also, so. Maybe we could address that with those homeowners. We are not their lawn service to be doing that all summer long.
Right. Yeah. So some of these, like, they can hire a company and pretty much pay them the entire summer what they'll pay us to do it one time, so. But anyhow, many of these are repeats offenders year after year, so. Yeah.
To gotta try to get a handle on those repeat offenders also.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Gail, anything this morning?
Nothing this morning.
You're good.
Hello, Chad. We do have to address bond, please.
Matt Wolf.
Matt, you're up.
Ready. All right, first off, the street department would like to request release of the University Heights performance bond.
Recommendation.
Other issue that I don't think on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just making a recommendation. It says, KFAM Partners LLC has requested a full release of the performance bond for the University of Heights subdivision. Inspection and development has been performed and all items have been installed in satisfactory condition. It's my recommendation performance bond in the amount of $82,500 be released, and a maintenance bond in the amount of $20,625 be established. Thank you for your consideration, Ms. Jasper.
Is that pretty typical that we remove the performance bond and then put in a maintenance bond for, and then how long is that maintenance bond in effect?
I think, in total, between the performance and maintenance, we do, it's a 3-year window. I'm not sure how much time is left. But I would say not less than a year.
Yeah, because the bonds are back on a lot for a year.
So the maintenance bond is something the K-Fan partners have to establish. Do we require that in place before we release the performance bond?
You can authorize them to go forward with that process to release the performance bond and obtain the maintenance bond.
Yeah. Make a motion that we authorize K-Fan partners to move forward with a maintenance bond in the amount of $20,625. And at the same time that we release the $82,500 maintenance bond. That's in place.
Performance bond.
Oh, excuse me, performance.
I would just like clarification at the next meeting, how long that maintenance bond is in effect for. But with that,
I mean, it actually left up to Chad too, I think, as far as
condition.
conditions that he sees out there, if there's any. Because you get to a certain point of performance is done, and then, you know, he may say we want it on for 2 years. It just depends.
It is spelled out in our ordinance, like what the process is.
Just for our purpose, I would just like to know how long that's in effect.
I'll second the mayor's request.
Good motions. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Alrighty, the street department would also like to request permission to seek quotes for annual rejuvenator pavement preservation.
You had given us those square miles.
Yes.
Jeff had provided, or through Lisa had provided the approximate cost.
Yes. Estimated to cost less than $67,000.
Repeat what that's because, right?
67,000.
This is to get quotes for a rejuvenator for the summer.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
That's sole source, they're just one. I think so. So we'll just be getting a price, we'll be going to that company. This is a single source company and getting a quote from them.
I think we need to get that quote. And then we break it down. So we'll make a motion that we seek a quote for the annual rejuvenator pavement preservation projects.
I'll second that motion.
A second from Nancy. Any further discussion? All in favor, simply saying aye.
Aye.
That's done, it's a square yard quote. So
Yes, please.
so it's done. So if we, as we go through and we see how much we can spend, we can always pare back and the areas that we need to go. Thanks, Matt.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, should be it. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
He's not, she's actually here. On you roll. It's whatever that's.
Yeah. Is there any report on the permits or anything?
It sent those out previously.
Renee, anything?
Yes, actually, this morning I'm seeking permission to go to the AIM conference for the Indiana Municipal Lawyers. They do an annual conference, every summer, and this summer it's the last, Thursday and Friday of June. And it is in Noblesville, so I'm seeking permission to go to the conference and stay at the hotel where the conference is being held. The conference cost is $320, and I think 2 nights in the hotel or something between $300 and $350. They're sponsored rates.
For this budget?
Yes.
Do you think there's value, especially in attending these? So I think motion that we permit Renee to attend the AIM conference. In Noblesville.
I'll second that motion.
Second for Nancy. Further discussion? All in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Kirsten?
Nothing today.
Okay. I don't have anything at this point in time. So with that. Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Have a second from Tim. All in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Adjourn.
Thanks, Lisa. I actually, we were having.